Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome to the 27th episode of another Sports Talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Michael Holcard. My co-host, John, got a little bit going on right now. It's going to go ahead and be late. Things are moving along here. We're coming down to the last couple of shows at this version of Huddle Card HQ. In the next few weeks, we'll have a new one. Won't look like this, and it won't look like the finished product either. But hey, that's for another story. But hey, let's talk some sports. We'll talk about some stuff that Johnny doesn't really follow, which is cool. But we're just gonna give like a recap of some of the things that are going on with hockey. What's up, Dom? How you doing, buddy? Hope all is well. NHL playoffs are going on. The Vegas Knights, they have they've oh, okay. Thanks, Dom. I'll go ahead and take a look at that. Vegas Knights, the Golden Knights, I should say, they have gone through. They're waiting. They're waiting for to play for the Stanley Cup champion. They're going to play the winner of the Carolina Hurricanes against the Montreal Canadiens. So going to be interesting to see what happens there as as that Canadiens and Carolina series goes. Carolina's up 2-1 right now. They're winning 3-0. Would be interesting. Hurricanes swept the Senators and they swept the Flyers. They've lost one game so far. Golden Knights 4-2, 4-2, 4-0 against the Avalanche. The Avalanche were the President's Cup winner. So they had the best record, and unfortunately, they just got steamrolled by the Golden Knights. Not a lot you could go ahead and do, but that's the way it is. In NBA, baby, go New York, go New York, go New York, go New York, go. Man, New York Knickerbockers. Woo, man. 11 in a row. The only two losses they are man. They're 12-2 in the playoffs. The only two losses they had were to the basketball team from Georgia, and in both of those games they only won by 1 point. I'm sorry, they only lost by 1 point. So looking forward to see what happens. OKC just took the lead the other night. Tomorrow night we got Spurs and OKC back in San Antonio. We'll see what happens. The New York Knicks, waiting for the winner of Thunder and Spurs. Going to be a good series. Definitely, hopefully, be able to watch all of those games. No, we did not sell the pool table. The actual pool table is right there. That's the slate, and there are some of the other pieces over there. It will be put back together at the new house. So don't worry, don't fret, do not worry about nothing. That pool table will be going back. Oops, sorry, wrong thing. Just to check in here. Yeah. Victor Wembanyama, number 1 of 1 for Panini Prism Black. Panini's Prism Black sold for $5.11 million. That is crazy. Not saying that Wembanyama is not. I mean, when you look at him, he's a freaky athlete on the basketball court. From being able to, shoot from 22, 23 feet away to basically, I don't want to say unstoppable, but he's damn near close to unstoppable when he's down near the paint. Incredible stuff. definitely go ahead and look at this. Definitely we'll look at this a little more when Johnny gets here because I'd like to get his thoughts, on you know on this stuff. I think there's some interesting topics here to talk about. So I don't want to take that away from a conversation with Johnny. So hopefully when he gets here, we'll be able to talk about that. Uh, you know, the card market. I got to tell you, I mean, I'll that came from an ESPN article. Yeah, um, it's interesting. I'm not gonna go ahead and not gonna lie about it. I just I don't know. The card market, in my opinion, has changed so much that I don't know. You know, I don't want you don't know where to go with it if you're a collector. It has gotten to the point to where, if, in my opinion, if your favorite player is a top player in one of the leagues. So if you are a Wembanyama fan or an SGA, maybe Jalen Brunson, um, you know, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, in your basketballs, or if you're in your football and you're looking at, look, football, for the most part, it's quarterbacks. Some of your wide receivers, yeah. Some of your running backs, yeah. But most of your money is going to be with your QBs. So if you're a fan of a top QB from there, baseball, if you're an Otani fan, if you're a Juan Soto fan, from that standpoint, it's going to be hard for you to collect, for lack of better words, the big cards of your favorite players, because it's just and I'm not even talking about the crazy one of one type stuff, but even the just any numbered stuff, some of it just goes for crazy dollars. And I don't know what we can do. Hey Ziggy, how you doing? Thanks for popping in, appreciate it. I don't know what we can do as for again, from a collector's standpoint. you know, if you're a person who wants to invest, if you got that kind of money and you look at sports cards as an investment, you look at it a lot different than, you know, the normal hobby. I don't want to say normal hobby, uh no, I don't want to say normal hobby fan, but like just you're a normal collector. Something more than PSA. Really? I mean, that's all you can do right now, right? I mean, you have to go ahead and you have to go at PSA. You literally, as of right now, I mean, and again, could be completely wrong. I've stopped looking at graded stuff. I don't really even take a peek at it anymore. Um, you know, my son does the grading stuff. Um, I don't get involved in it, but to completely have one company that has so much, I know power is not the right word, but they have so much of a stranglehold, on the pricing of the market, is crazy to me. It really is. I mean, it's like, it's almost like if you look at, like, let's say, like the car market, you have Lamborghinis, you have Ferraris, you have Mercedes Benz, right? You have different manufacturers who make really good cars, and the prices, are all up there and everything. But yet, in sports cards, you have plenty of companies that grade, and I'm not necessarily. All right, Anthony gonna join us. Sweet. I'm not saying that every grading company uh, should be the same, but there should be something. I mean, because you hear about all these, I mean, You hear about all these companies that start up when you look at some of these grading companies, and you're like, I X Y whatever the heck may A B C the LMNP so on and so forth. And you're like, huh, who are these guys? They shouldn't. But when you're looking at Beckett, you're looking at SGC and PSA and CGC. Those those cards should be a lot, in my opinion. Those cards should be a lot closer in price. That's just my opinion. I mean, from that, I think that the community, although may try to make a change, never will. Because PSA is always going to be at the forefront. They're always going to be, people go, well, they're going to be at the forefront because more people submit to them. Yeah, more people submit to them because if people are looking at a card as an investment, that's where they're going to get the most bang out of their buck. They're not going to, look and go, oh, well, let me just go ahead and send this, Victor Wembanyama 1 of 1 Panini Black Prism. Let me send that to Tag. Not going to happen. Now, maybe, I shouldn't say not. More than likely, it won't happen. Maybe it will, but more than likely, it's not. Maybe when people do that a little bit more, if people were to go ahead and take that chance, then it might happen. Maybe, you say, hey, look, come on, really, guys? This is a Tag. This is the PSA. Why is it different? And maybe you have to use, let's say, like a numbered to 5 card, right? If you have, 2 to 5, 2 out of 5 in PSA, you have 3 out of 5 in Tag, basically the exact same card. If they both go ahead and getting a 10, what's the difference? What really is the difference? The thing that always has gotten me with PSA, and I know they talk about insurance, but to upcharge you for a card because the value went up, I disagree with that. Don't think it's right. I mean, obviously, there's nothing you can go ahead and do about it, but that's the way they do it. It doesn't make any sense to me. They didn't grade it any different. They didn't handle it any different. All they're doing is saying, "Ooh, hey, the value of this card now is so much higher, so our grading fee is actually even more money." You want to say it's because of insurance? Fine, go right ahead, but I don't care. Larkin, how you doing, buddy? Hope all is well. Well, one thing we'll talk about the Women's Professional Hockey League, or Professional Women's Hockey League, crowned a champion, the Montreal Victory. Maybe they are crooks. Stop supporting them. I can't disagree with you. I agree. Yeah. So the Professional Women's Hockey League is growing. They had 8 teams. They're going to go to 12 teams. They're adding Detroit, Hamilton, Las Vegas, San Jose. Good for the ladies. Nice to see it. I wouldn't mind seeing more cards. Those are cards that I would definitely consider going ahead and getting. But we will excuse me. We will see. They are in Boston, Minnesota, Montreal, New York, Ottawa, Seattle, Toronto, and Vancouver. Sounds like they're doing really well. And we'll go from there. So we'll see what happens. With that. But we get Anthony on here in a little bit. We can talk some more grading. I mean, Anthony went ahead and he started grading. Oh my goodness gracious! Speak his name and he appears.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Pittsburgh.
What's happening, brother?
Not much, man. Hey, Dom, how you doing, brother?
Yeah, Upper Deck has
the PWHL card. Speaking of which, I saw that the president's doing a live stream right now, which is kind of cool. I'll check that out later.
The president of PWHL?
No, of Upper Deck.
Oh.
He's on with Professor Sports Cards tonight, I believe.
Oh, very cool, very cool.
Yeah, I'll have to
Hey,
check
so how's everything going?
Good, man. How's everything been with you?
Fantastic. How was Ireland?
Dude, Ireland was insane. We the funny thing was like my wife wanted to do X, Y, and Z. I was like, okay, well, we can go doing that if we go and do this. So like we went to a bunch of comic book shops that were local, and then we went to the only sports card shop in the entire country. They had a few like TCG gaming shops, but as far as like sports card collecting like we do, there's literally one shop in the entire country, and it's in Dublin. So
wow,
we went and hit that, which was really cool. We did like a little shop tour of it, and then we went ate at Conor McGregor's, which was just insanely good.
So the card shop,
yeah.
What I mean, how when you go in and you're looking, I mean, what is dominating? What's dominating in Dublin?
Big time soccer over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're a big soccer country. They had some stuff over there that was like what we would consider semi-obscure, like cricket and stuff like that. But it was like one box. It wasn't anything like crazy. Then they had like everything you would see locally, the football, basketball, baseball. They had some hockey. They had the UFC wrestling. They even had a bunch of the TCG stuff and like the non-sport stuff, which is kind of what we were. My wife's a big non-sport collector, so we ended up ripping a blaster while we were there of the new Marvel Topps Chrome, and that was pretty cool. But there wasn't like a whole lot in terms of like I almost picked up like a red, white, and blue Jackson Dart just to be like, okay, cool. I picked up a nice card while I was here, but then I was like, you know what? This card's not going to be as valuable as what they charge. Like they wanted like I think it was like €40 for it, and euros cost more than dollars or more valuable than dollars, so I would have been spending more than what I would be comfortable paying US for it or whatever. So I passed on it and we got a box just to rip because we wanted to not only support that local shop, but also have something fun to rip to like remember the trip by. But the cool part about it was that guy who runs that shop is also the promoter for like the once a year Dublin card show that they have.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it was a pretty cool connection to make.
So do they? I mean, obviously, so the product they get their product shipped from the U.S.
Most of it, yeah. So like the sport, like a buddy of mine wanted Garbage Pail Kids. So he's like, if you find Garbage Pail Kids, get them for me. The problem was that was the only true sports card shop I could find, and all their Garbage Pail Kids were like chrome, and they're all like shipped from the States, so it's like nothing special. So I ended up getting him. He's real big into like Deadpool or whatnot. So he picked out a playmat like that he wanted on his desk.
Oh,
and
nice.
It's like the UK variant that you can only get in the UK or whatever. So he was like all pumped up about it. But it was like, cool. It's like to me, it's just a playmat. It just like happened to have been made there instead of here, but it's pretty much the same, except for Deadpool says something different.
So there was nothing that, like, for instance, that you could not was there anything that you could not get here that you saw there?
Yes. So I did get some comic books at one of the comic book shops from they had an entire section that was just Irish comics that were made in Ireland by Irish artists and Irish writers and stuff like that. So the funny part was one of the guys who was one of the bigger writers over there. He had a bunch of like graphic novels on sale, and he actually ended up being in shop that day. So Irene and I bought like a handful of these, and we were able to give them to some of the guys that we work with, as like just like a little, hey, this is from Ireland type thing.
That's cool.
Like I was the cool guy on the team at work that showed up and was like, hey, I thought about you guys, and here's not some crappy taffy that's going to hurt your teeth. Here's like something collectible, which was kind of cool. The nice thing was we ended up like, he was all like fired up that we bought all these like graphic novels from him and stuff. And he ended up signing the ones for me and Irene, and he put like a little insignia of like the main character. Like it's like he's a knight, so he like made like the knight's head like underneath his signature. And I was like, dude, you have no idea how cool that is in the sports card world. What you just did, you probably do all the time for comic book people, but like that's like a true, really cool, like one of one signature you just gave us. So thank you. So it was really it was pretty cool. Like you just made like a little sketch of the guy on the. So I wonder if she has the books up here.
I saw you went to the Titanic Museum.
We did, yeah, that was really cool. It was where they built the ship and where it actually set sail from for the first time.
Very cool.
And it was a different spin than I'm used to, because normally we go and it's like, hey, this is how the ship crashed, and here's like all like the cool facts about like all the people dying and stuff. This was more so like talking about the people who built it. The crazy thing was they had like a ride in the middle of it. It was almost like Disneyland, where it like takes you through like all the centuries of people building stuff, and it was kind of cool.
They have a ride. Like what? Like it's a small world type thing where you go around?
Titanic was built the ride. Yes, literally.
What's up, Johnny?
What's up, fellas?
Not much, brother. Good to see you.
Anthony was just talking about his Ireland trip.
Yeah, nice. we had a blast, man. I highly suggest anybody go if you have not.
So, best food you ate?
Best food I ate. I mean, honestly, we tried all of like the local stuff, like fish and chips, the what is it, shepherd's pie. Honestly, I think my wife's shepherd's pie was better, but then she makes a pastry puff for me, so it's like really good. But the one thing I ate the most was over there, they eat French fries with like salt and vinegar on them. So I ate a ton of that while I was over there. I'm trying to think anything crazy that we ate. My wife had white pudding. I did not have haggis.
No haggis?
Unless that's what black and white pudding is. I don't know. But basically black and white pudding, the white one's not as bad. It's just like some kind of pork grind up stuff. But the black one is like actual blood. It's disgusting. It looks like blood patty. Imagine
it's not pudding like we think of.
No, it looks
Bill
like
Cosby
a sausage.
Jello pudding.
No, it looks like a sausage patty that's like filled with blood and like oatmeal. It's disgusting. But Irene tried it.
That would be a little bit of a pass for me.
Yeah, I'm good on the blood.
Like, what's that one? Nah, no thanks. But overall, good time.
My favorite thing though was the steak at McGregor's. Like it came out on like a sizzling stone. Like no joke. Like Irene's was at least as tall as this mag loader. Her steak. Like it was round, but it was this tall.
Holy cow!
It was huge. And it came out on like a sizzling slab. It was like awesome. That was probably my favorite meal.
So you're basically in Dublin most of the time?
We were in Dublin about half the time, and then we went to a castle about midway between Dublin and Belfast, and we spent a day and a night at the castle, which was kind of cool. It's an actual real castle that is now turned into a hotel. A lot of the ones over there are basically like facade castles, like they like built like a fake castle onto a hotel, and it's like a Holiday Inn on the inside. But this one's like an actual real castle the entire way through. So that was kind of cool to check out. So yeah, that was one of my favorite parts is the castle. And then after that, we went out to Belfast for the rest, and that's when we did like Titanic and like the Game of Thrones stuff. We did like a tour of stuff, which was kind of cool.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah,
you had a great time.
It was awesome. We nerded out pretty hardcore.
One of the best things you've probably done, here recently. Great place to go and everything.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. I would have liked it on for 2 weeks, but
yeah,
the time.
Hey, it is what it is. Not bad. Johnny, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing good. How about you guys? Oh, I know how Anthony's doing.
You're here.
Yeah. Can't complain. We're just we're down to the nitty gritty. We're down to the crunch time and everything. We got the dumpster delivered today and stuff, and
Nice.
getting down to the nitty gritty.
What day are you guys moving out?
June the 5th.
Nice. We are close behind you. We're moving on June 8th. We're not
Nice.
decided where yet, though. That's the fun part.
That could be interesting. Usually you have that planned out ahead of time, but
Yeah, right now it's either going to be we look for a house somewhere close by, or we're going to move completely out of state. So it's like all up in the air right now. But as you can probably see behind me, we've already started the packing job.
Yeah.
Like all of my cards are down.
So he said basically, Dublin, Belfast.
Dublin and Belfast were the main ones. I can't remember where the castle was, but it's called Cabra Castle. So if you Google that, you can probably see where it's at. It was like the midway point between Dublin and Belfast. The pubs are super cool there, though. Like almost every night, there's like live music and like jig dancing and stuff like that. So that was kind of cool to be part of.
So, card market. What did you guys think? I don't know if you guys heard. Dom sent me this thing about the Victor Wembanyama 1 of 1.
$5 million.
The 23-24 Panini Black Prism sold for $5.11 million in a private sale via Fanatics Collects.
So is it a private sale or was it a sale on Fanatics Collects? That's the confusing part.
Yeah.
If you think if it's a sale on Fanatics Collects, it's kind of like a sale on Whatnot, which is like a live thing. That's a official sale.
So it's the most ever spent on a Wemby card, and is the fourth. And here's one thing I understand: it is the fourth, so it's the fourth highest basketball card ever. It is the 11th highest sports card ever.
You know what's crazy? You could have had a Michael Jordan rookie for considerably less than that.
Most expensive known sale of a non-autographed and a third sports card is sold for $5 million. So in 2026, there's been 3 sports cards that have sold for over $5 million. This is the first non-order. The previous most spent on a Wembanyama was $850,000. So from $850,000, $5.11 million. The interesting thing about this card, the card graded a 10 by PSA was pulled in a live break by North Cal Sports and has that controversial lore. This is the card that the shop owner had. He thanked Kurt's Card Care for helping get that 10.
That was the card for $5 million? Same one?
Yep.
My God. If I was that guy, I would literally kick myself in the nuts buying a Kurt Card Care card for $5 million. And then, like, 10 years from now, the thing's all warped and disgusting looking, probably.
Yeah, if it was tops, you could still get the other one. That's true.
So how would you guys feel, though? Like, if you knew that was a Kurt's card and you just spent $5 million on it, would you feel like still cool? Like, okay, I got the Wemby. I don't care that Kurt's was on it. It says 10 on the label, so I'm happy with it. Or would you be like, it's not the same to you because it had some kind of substance applied to it to alter some kind of a scratch or something or another? It looks like Dom just shared the article for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
If I have that kind of money, do I care? I guess is the big thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, whoever bought it was okay, Johnny. Obviously.
You would have to drop $5 million. Like, on a Wemby, like an ultra modern card of a guy who's lanky that could very easily be the next Greg Odom. I hope he's not, but I mean, those lanky guys sometimes get hurt and don't fare well later in their career. So
Well, he's already gotten hurt a couple times.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so to drop 5 million, I don't know, man. Like, it could be like look at what the Mac Jones 1-of-1 that the kid sold for $100,000 is worth now. You know what I mean? And that's only a couple years later. Like, I don't think that Mac Jones is going to go up like into his retirement, especially because people are going to forget who Mac Jones is.
Right. I think you. So you look at Wemby in 23, 24, played 71 games, which is good. In 24, 25, played 46. In 25, 26, he played 64. So, yeah, I agree. You know, I don't know. I guess to me, like I said, to be honest with you, if to kind of like, you know, what Larkin says right here, if I spent 5 million on a card, I'd be happy that I have like $1 billion. I mean, that's what, you know, if I'm worth, 450, 500 million, and I'm the guy who bought it. I mean, hey, you know what? Guess what? I have a card. You can look at it, Anthony, almost as somewhat as a badge of honor, saying, I have the one card that was done by Kurt's Card Care, and it got rated a 10. The number one card grading company and the geniuses that are there, they could not go ahead and figure out that this card was doctored. The only thing I can think of is why you would,
So not only is it going to have that stigma, but if he ends up getting injured or something, you're going to have that Mac Jones effect almost immediately. I just looked up on, Google AI or Gemini, whatever it is, how much that card is depreciated since that $100,000 sale. Immediately after that sale, the person who bought it flipped it for $175,000. But today, that card is worth anywhere between $5,000 and $6,000. So that has depreciated anywhere from 95% to 99% since 2022 when the card was made.
And you think about it from this standpoint. Even if Mac Jones were to get another, starting position and lead a team, it probably would never get back to that number.
Correct.
Right. It's amazing that it's still worth 5,000 or 6,000. You would think 500 or 600.
For sure.
I don't know. I mean, I get the whole thing. I don't, the thing about the Wembys and stuff. I mean, obviously, you look at one of two different things. I mean, obviously, if he goes on to, if he has a long career and is doing some of the things that he is doing, who knows what could happen? He's still only, when you think about it, he's been in the league for 3 years. He's still only 22 years old.
Yeah, he's a freak too, man. Like what he can do, like guys his size should not be able to do.
Right.
He does everything well. That's the scary part. Like
Yep.
I've seen him pull up like Steph Curry from the logo. It's insane. And then he's just like wilt underneath the basket.
Mm-hmm.
Insane.
But I think with any of these guys that are in professional sports now, is the desire going to be there to play a long career? And does that matter anymore? If you're going to become one of the greats of the game in any sport, I don't care, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, any sport, women's professional hockey, any sport, greatness has always had some piece of longevity to it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like you think about it, I mean, there are the exceptions to the rule. Like in baseball, you look at Ohtani, right?
Yeah.
But if
That guy's a freak too.
but would he be looked at different if all of a sudden in a year or two he can't play anymore? Is it wow? What could think about it? Because think about it. No matter how great he is right now, if he were to stop playing in 2 or 3 years, and let's say he's 30 years old, I don't know how old he is. Let's say he stops when he's 30. Let's say he stops when he's 32 years old. How many people would go, man? What would he have done if he played another 5 years, another 6 years?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No matter how great you are, you're always going to have that if you don't have a long career. There's always going to be that what would have happened if.
I saw a real cool meme of Otani the other day. It was a thing of Godzilla. You know when he gets like his spikes out of his back and he gets that blue like fire stuff coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
It was him doing that on the little league field in Japan, and somehow like transforming like Otani and all these other like great players that have come from Japan into like superhuman like freak baseball players. It was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I just, I think, like I said, Wembanyama and Otani, you think about like those two players, you're looking at two players that if you're a fan of both or just one, you're looking at two players that potentially are, beyond generational players.
For sure.
And there have been generational players. These are all timers that you're looking at when you look at what they can do. But to me, like I said, it's I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. Was a generational generational player and everything, and even though he played a long career, his injuries, people go, wow, what would have happened if he didn't get injured? Mario Lemieux, Pittsburgh Penguins, right?
Yep.
Think about what Mario Lemieux accomplished on the ice, and there are still people that go, you imagine if his back never went out?
Yeah.
Holy cow. So that's the one thing about some of these guys. You're right. Hopefully, he can go ahead and remain healthy, and we could watch something. But man, if he does those things, is that $5 million spent a good investment? I mean, I gotta believe that that's a type of card that would be resold if he's moving up the charts, as in the greats of the games, right? I mean, look, the Mickey Mantle has,
Yeah.
right? Everybody talks about the Mickey Mantle. How many times has that Mickey Mantle been sold?
It will be interesting to see kind of what happens there, though, because outside of like Bill Russell and like big guys don't get a whole lot of love. I don't know if it's because of like the mass produceedness of their cards. Like I think of like a Shaq, but he doesn't really have a one-of-one type card. You know what I mean? Either. So,
Right.
I guess that is like the built-in scarcity of the new market.
But is it a scarcity when there's so many one-of-ones for every player?
I guess not. I mean, especially with every different product and sometimes like different colors. Like, I love Leaf, but they have a one-of-one of every single parallel. Why?
Right.
Like, it's not necessary.
Well, it's like, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, John and I were, we were going through, like the checklist of, and it's amazing, even in a paper product like, Topps Series 2, how many numbered cards there are of every single player.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable, and now when they do the gold, which is the, to whatever the year it is, that means every single player, no matter who the hell you are, you have 2,026 numbered cards.
Mm-hmm.
Just in that alone.
And imagine how many not numbered base cards you probably have. Like,
we were looking at that last time. What were we saying, John? That it had to be absolutely that the numbers were friggin' crazy. They were like up in the millions of cards being produced.
One thing I used,
it was. Go ahead.
One thing I used to really like to collect was like a set of base rated rookies for every like football and basketball draft class that came out. Just so if something hit, I'd at least have a cool rookie of them. But now that I'm thinking that there's probably like millions of those rated rookies out there that are just base, it's like, do I even really want a press proof at this point? Like even the silver prisms, there's probably hundreds of thousands of them out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, John, like we've talked about it, a couple of times and everything, and I just think that the normal collector who is a fan of a star is screwed if they want to go ahead and have, if they want to really jump in and have a lot of that player's, low numbered cards. I mean, it's just the way it's going to be. It's just the way the market is going. That's the way everything is being driven.
So apparently for Panini Prism, I asked Gemini to estimate how many base cards are the print run. The starting print run for an average base card, they're saying for a Panini Prism type product would probably be between 100,000 and 150,000 copies just for the first print. And from what I understand, a lot of times they have multiple printings, especially of like popular stuff like Prism that everybody's buying. Like I'd imagine if it's like a bum set that nobody really wants, like your XYZ draft picks that just sit on the shelf and get marked down after so much time, they're probably not going to overprint that. But stuff like Prism, I could see them. God, I don't even know how many different printings they would have for something like that.
I don't know. That's crazy. Donruss baseball dropped today. Panini 180. 180 for Donruss baseball and Panini. Make it make sense.
I wish I could.
Yeah. It's insane, man. Like it's so impossible to actually make money off of a box. I can't remember who I was talking to. A friend of mine at work. He bought, I think it was like a $1,500 box or something like that, and he said he made like $60 of cards out of it.
You got to make sense of any product that's out there right now that you're going to make money off of. There isn't.
Yeah, but I mean, at least give you close to your value. Like, how do you get $60 after a $1,500 bill? Just insane to me.
I had a buddy open up a jumbo of Bowman, and he did pretty well. He hit three or four really good cards. So it was a great box, but for every one there is like that, there's who knows how many of the situation. Yeah, right?
Honestly, right. When there's a product I want, I normally, like, as good as it is to be like first to market, I normally wait till I see some videos online and I can see like, okay, well, these guys are getting crushed in blasters, but the hangers are doing really well here, so I'm going to go and grab a hanger. Or the hangers suck here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the blaster or whatever, So it's just good to know, like, because you don't know where the value is going to lie.
Because if you think about it, you buy a $300 book of lottery tickets, you're more or less going to get it like 165 back. You buy a $300 box of baseball cards, you'll be lucky to get 100 back.
Yeah. It's crazy when scratch-offs have better odds than sports cards.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I also will try and see how the quality is. What are they? If is somebody talking about, hey, wow, holy cow, the print quality doesn't look really good on these, and stuff like that, or something along those lines. That's what I want to see. Also, it's not just, hey, can you hit something? Because wow, you went ahead and you hit the I don't know, the Ethan Holiday to 5, but the QC and print run quality is like crap. So whoop-de-doo, from that standpoint.
Do you think that if they were to include more stuff, like say if you bought like a case, well, I guess kabooms are included in a case, but if you bought a box, like a hobby box, kaboom would be included in that box. Do you think that would depreciate the value of the kaboom or like the higher end cards if they started just including them? Because the way I look at it is like Leaf, like it's really easy to hit low numbered cards out of Leaf, whereas like if you're going through Panini, the likelihood of finding anything to 10 or less is low. In Leaf, you open up a hobby box, you're likely to hit something that's like to 10 or less, because like I was saying earlier, they have so many different parallels and they basically put everything in everything. But does that make the product less valuable? Like, for example, like if you get a 1-of-1 Joe Burrow autograph Leaf versus a 1-of-1 Joe Burrow autograph Panini, it is a fraction of the price. Now, guaranteed it's going to be licensed through Panini, and it's not going to be through Leaf. But do you think that at any point that's going to would diminish if they did give us more value?
I don't think it would. I think it, I think it could, it could actually increase the value, because at least you have that short printed card that that's in there, right? There's a difference between, hey, the chances of you hitting one are 1 in X number of boxes versus 1 in every box. If you have the opportunity to potentially go ahead and get 1 in every box, I think it may not increase the value, but I think it would at least potentially increase the sales.
Yeah.
Some.
I honestly think the high price of product right now is really the main reason repacks are actually working, is because you can spend $100 on a repack and get $80 back, and that could be pretty consistent. You know what I mean? Whereas you spend it on cards, you'd be lucky to get $20 back out of your $100 payment. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really unfortunate how little you get back for what you actually put into it. Because unless you actually want to collect it, like, what's the value in ever opening a product?
Right.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, obviously, you're a gambler.
Yeah.
I think what people. I think what people will go ahead and look at a little bit more is, hey, I look at product like slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
You have nickel slots, you have quarter slots, you have dollar slots, you have $5 slots, right? You have your blasters, you have your hangers, you have your fat packs.
Wait a minute. Shouldn't we be looking at these at like $100 slots, since that's what boxes cost us, over $100? It's real about it,
True. No, you're 100% great, but you know what I'm saying, along something along those lines, is that's what you're going ahead and that's what you're looking at, and I think people who want the thrill of opening and maybe that potential, a lot of those are probably the people that are playing, the quarter slots, dollar slots, nickel slots. If they go to, let's say, they go to Vegas and stuff, right? Hey, I'm not gonna spend as much money buying a jumbo, but I may get less. Now, the funny thing is that sometimes those people will go ahead and they'll just keep going and going and going. Next thing you know, they've bought 10 blasters for $300, they could have bought maybe a hobby box and had maybe at least a better shot at getting something.
Mm-hmm. That was actually a mistake I made early on, because I was like, yeah, I can get more total cards if I just buy a bunch of retail instead of like the hobby stuff. But then I didn't realize that the retail was watered down from what you get in the hobby boxes. So the chances of getting something is either drastically less or just not at all, because they just don't put it in retail. So like if you actually are big game hunting, sometimes you have to go and get the hobby box, which is obviously going to be a loss for most people.
Especially if you're buying Chrome football at $2,600 for a jumbo.
That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know. I to me, there are enough players in all the leagues where there is no reason why at least even a relic, even a patch, forget patch auto, but even a patch card. There are so many players in the leagues that there are at least the opportunity to where you could have at least a patch card in every single type of product out there.
Panini usually does that with their blasters. You usually get at least a patch normally. I don't know if that's changed or not, but you used to at least get a patch out of it every blaster, even if it was nobody.
Right. Like we just talked about Wemby. You think about how tall that guy is, and you take one of his jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You'd how many little friggin' 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch squares you could get out of one jersey.
Yeah.
From that standpoint and everything.
I'm over here on Best Buy. I wanted to check out the Topps Chrome football, what they're charging now. Hangers are $68.
Golly.
Blasters are $98, and the Megas are $193.
You ready?
That's from Best Buy.
The answer to your question on the Wemby jersey.
What?
So on the average jersey, which would be like a 2XL. So Wemby's tall as hell. He's not fat, but roughly a 2XL. The average cut makes 1,500 to 2,000 swatches based on the size of the patches. There'll be 1,500 to 2,000 individual pieces. Now, if you're doing multicolored patches, they normally have 150 to 350 pieces that are multicolored patches. And then like the ultra rare one of ones normally only have 1 or 2 up to 3 per jersey. It's normally like the logo, like the laundry tag, or like branding of some form. You know what I mean? Like Fiesta Bowl or whatever would be on there. So, but yeah, the average one that you would get in a blaster box, which is just your napkin, they'd have up to 2,000 from one jersey.
Right. And that's one player.
And Fanatics makes the jerseys, so that should be difficult for them to do.
I don't know. I just, again, I said it before and everything. I look at the hobby, and if you are if you're a collector and you're truly in it because I like collecting cards. It was what I've done and everything. If your favorite player is a star player, like if all of a sudden you're a kid and you love Victor Wembanyama, good luck trying to buy some of his rarer cards.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you're, I don't care, pick pick whoever it is, and then you said Joe Burrow, or even go with some of the younger guys, Caleb Williams, Drake May. You look at some of these, you look at some of the guys that that are going to come out. They look at Mendoza. Mendoza don't even have to be that good this first year. I guarantee you, his autograph cards, his patch cards, and all kind of stuff, they're gonna go through the roof and everything. If you looked on on tops, and you go through the tops now, and you look at the archive stuff, I think when you look at the print run for Mendoza, I think it was that first tops card that they did from draft night. I think there was over 200,000 in the print run.
Wow, insane.
You know, so I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with with the hobby. I don't really know where it's going to go or anything. I mean, I don't know how it changes. I think it's going to be interesting to see, coming up in the future, what some of the big card shows look like,
Mm-hmm.
and what we're hearing from there and everything. But I mean, John, have you when we talked, last time we were talking about the pre-sale of Topps Chrome Platinum and where those prices went and how fast that crap sold out. It was friggin' ridiculous.
I mean, it's come down. It's $269 or $279 on blowout, but that's still $100 more, $130 more than what you would have bought it for.
What I would have bought it for, but they wouldn't have, they didn't pay 130, 140.
No, they probably bought like a pallet or two of it and probably got it at like $99 a box or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm waiting to see somebody have an early release of one this week somehow, and because they always are. There's probably already graded ones on eBay. I mean,
they'll be on Fanatics Collects right now. You go to Fanatics. Holy cow! Check it out. The one of one Shohei Ohtani is, Topps Chrome Platinum is for sale already.
Yeah. I mean, what they did with Series 2 wasn't terrible, but even so, it's still a $70, $80 markup, seeing it was $117.99, I think, on pre-order, and Blowout has it at $199.99. I'm not paying $200 for maybe get lucky. Maybe.
Yeah, especially when you look at it from the guys that would be in, Series 2, as we talked about. There's nobody that you go, oh my gosh, I got to go get this card.
Yeah, the only two real big ones are that Sal Stewart and that guy from the White Sox.
Yeah, Murakami.
Yeah, that's it. And there's a couple other ones, but I mean, ones I don't even know who the hell they are.
Yeah. So, I mean, update. Potentially, there are a couple other guys that, that maybe, but again, I mean, when you look at rookies and you look at, stuff like that, there aren't even, there's not a lot. I mean, even you look at, you look at Ohtani. I mean, as good as he is doing,
he's not doing super great.
Oh, 270, 8 home runs, 30 RBIs.
Yeah.
Now, yes, he's played in 54 games, but I mean, that's not Ohtani-esque,
right?
So
Judge is right around the same. He hasn't done as much either.
I mean, it's loaded, but
it's loaded by whose opinion? I mean, your opinion might be, and I'm not putting you down, Locking, in any means. Your opinion, yeah, it's loaded. Other people might be, well, there might be 4 or 5 guys in there that are worth it to me. So, I mean, it's that whole thing of where people rate these rookies and how they feel about them, if they're going to make it. Like I said, I will always be a big believer. Jason Dominguez is a bust all the way.
And I think when you're looking at from a standpoint,
Well, Matty.
Hey, Matty, how you doing, buddy? I think when you're looking at it from, I mean, you're still, in my opinion, looking at a bunch of guys with potential, right? Roman Anthony still has it. It could be Jack Caglione for for the Royals. Another one, the kid McDougal or McDougall, whatever McCongle for Detroit, right? I mean, there are a few of those guys, but I don't know. I mean, I one thing I think, from Larkin's standpoint, I think if you look I think if you could probably get some numbered cards, maybe some lower numbered cards at a decent price as a potential hold.
True.
But how much do you want to invest in paper?
Right.
Versus Chrome, versus Destiny, or some of the other, higher stuff that that they have out there. That's the problem. That's part of the issue that you have. It's loaded, and you don't know who, but a lot of the paper product is not worth really going ahead and going, oh my gosh, let me go ahead and run out there and buy a lot of that stuff. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Now, 2025 Topps Chrome Platinum. You could pre-order from Dick's $30 for a blaster.
There you go.
That's on Dick's website right now. If you have Rackatoon, you get 2% cash back.
Nice.
But you probably won't get it until the end of June.
Well, you probably won't get it for a while, yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be some of these baseball products are going to be interesting. I wonder, will they do some kind of a Chrome? You think they'll do some kind of a Chrome Platinum type thing for basketball and football?
I wouldn't be shocked. Seems like they typically follow the same path with a lot of the sports.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you did, you wouldn't have a 1952, NFL. I don't know how early the cards went, but I don't know if you had a 52 NFL or a 52, NBA. I guess
50s, because I've seen like 57s and stuff recently. Let's see.
So, I don't know. It's good.
Actually, 1888 was the very first football card. It was Goodwin Champions featuring Henry W. Beaker. They were found tucked inside of packs of Old Judge and Gypsy Queen cigarettes. And they were multi-sport.
And imagine them doing a that year card with today's players. That'd probably look pretty cool.
The first NFL set, though, was 1935.
Okay.
And then the modern era started with 48 Bowman.
If you're fanatics, why wouldn't you? What would be your reason for not doing it?
I don't think there is one. Put out as much product as you can and grab that cash.
That's what they're talking about doing.
I think that's a business plan. But they know they're dealing with degenerates, so they'll keep providing our next fix.
Yeah. Yep. What do you guys think of the news out of Green Bay?
Which is what?
Josh Jacobs.
Oh, yeah. He got what, did he get in trouble or did he get injured?
Oh, no, he got in. There's a.
Was it like drugs or something?
Massive investigation. Several domestic violence charges. So he was.
I had him in the redraft league and not the keeper.
Domestic abuse, criminal damage to property. I'm sorry, battery, which was domestic abuse, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct. Domestic abuse, strangulation, and suffocation, and for and they threw in intimidation of the victim.
No, why not?
Strangulation and suffocation leads to that.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty intimidating.
Well, yeah.
What a dumbass. Got the world by the balls and got to choke the life out of some poor innocent woman.
Now, granted, they're allegations, so I mean,
yes, this is all alleged.
But then so are wonders and happened there.
Did you see that? Did you see that? That outcome of the Wander thing?
No, what happened there?
No.
Is he not a pedo?
So I'm trying to. Oh, damn it. So he was found basically guilty, but no sentencing, no jail time or anything like that, because this also was the girl that it happened to. Her mother got in trouble, got arrested and everything for going ahead basically and prostituting her daughter. So the judge was like, well, you know, it was two wrongs. And I was like, I'm reading the thing going, really?
Two wrongs don't make a right. That's all I'm saying.
Really?
They're both in trouble then.
How many Wander cards did this judge have stashed away?
He's got the 101 autograph. He's like, I ain't losing money on this, damn it.
So did you hear about Tyreek Hill potentially retiring to be a DJ?
Yeah.
That's a little
That's not going to go well.
Yeah.
That's going to end up in some jail time somehow.
That kind of stuff never goes well.
No.
It's like, I think Le'Veon Bell wanted to be like a rapper or whatever when he retired. I think he is rapping now, but
Yeah, so
no one knows him for that.
yeah. So just go back to the Wander thing. I have it up here. So he was declared criminally responsible for the abuse, the abusing of a minor, but he will not serve a sentence for it. In his decision, Judge Jose Antonio Nunez considered that Franco had been the victim of extortion and blackmail by the minor's mother, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison for sex trafficking her daughter. It seems, and his words are, it seems contradictory to declare criminal responsibility and at the same time exempt him from punishment. The court also granted Wander Franco a judicial pardon due to the particular circumstances that made him a material victim and not a logical one.
So is this judge, if this judge does have those cards, does he realize that's not going to help the price of the cards go up at all? That he's not going to come back to baseball.
No, I can't.
I mean, the Mets could use him probably. I'm just saying.
Maybe he'll go ahead and play in the Dominican League.
Though, man, like I can't believe like he wouldn't get anything, but the mother would. Like I understand what he did, but you would think he would still be like, it's like even if you're a guy who picks up a prostitute, right? You get charged for soliciting a prostitute, right? Yeah. Why didn't he at least get charged for that?
Right.
Like, if he at least did something. I don't know. He probably had a hell of a lawyer, I bet.
Right. Rangers let Andrew McCutchen go. That is true. A lot of them do get married up. And then Mrs. Travis Swift is going to be a part owner of the Cleveland Guardians.
Not surprised. He's the Cleveland Heights resident. Well, he's from Cleveland Heights.
Yeah, he's big. Yeah, he was
like every Cavs playoff game this past year.
Yeah, especially those last two at home were beautiful games.
Yeah. Well, for you. Not so much for me. But then again, literally the minute we traded Garland for James Harden, I said, what the hell did they trade him for James Harden for? This guy can't win in the freaking playoffs, nor does he play defense.
Look, you got to give Mike a little grace. It's the only team that ever does any good. The Giants are going to suck this year.
I'm not a Giant. Hey! I am not a Giants fan.
Giants, Jets are really.
I'm worse. I'm a Jets fan. You see it right there. Look right there. See it right there? There ain't no damn Giants logo.
Well, the other side has the Giants logo, so I mean, just saying.
Yeah, you can say that, but you know what? They destroyed the crap out of them. No one complains when the last bunch of NBA champions had the easy routes. No, I don't want to hear none of that crap. Knicks destroyed these teams. 279-point differential, 11 in a row. The 3 closeout games by 51, by 31, and by 37 points.
Who do you think they have a better chance of beating?
That's a tough one.
So I've seen they're the underdog regardless of who they face, but I mean, honestly, the way they've plowed through the East, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I don't know, because I think, it's going to be difficult.
Maddie says you're making stuff up.
I am not making stuff up.
He's like,
there are receipts out there.
Could you imagine if you hadn't watched basketball in like the last few years and be like, yeah, the Knicks are in the finals? It'd be like, what? The Knicks?
Locken is so confident in Oklahoma City and San Antonio.
Dude,
hey, there were people who thought that, Oklahoma City was going to dog walk, San Antonio because of the age and stuff like that. I didn't think so. I thought it was going to be a close game and everything. It'll be a close series.
Can you believe what the Mavericks probably feel like right now? Letting both Brunson and Luka walk? Like, oh my God. Like, Brunson, like, they probably had no idea he was going to be what he became. Like, I'm sure the Knicks probably didn't even know he was that good when they signed him. But, man, like, I can only imagine, like, how they feel. Because they drafted both them guys in the exact same draft class. 2018.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody saw this. And I think a lot of people look at it at Jalen Brunson, see his size, and say, hey, other than Steph Curry, there really hasn't. And, you have to go back to Isaiah Thomas, who was that 6'1", maybe 6 foot, point guard to lead a team to a championship. I mean, nowadays, the truth of the matter is, it just does not go ahead and happen.
Yeah.
So a lot of people kept saying, okay, well, who do the Knicks have to add to help Jalen Brunson? And maybe they don't have to add anybody. Maybe they have him right there.
Yeah, this is like one of those games where size definitely matters, but Brunson is definitely an anomaly to that.
Yeah, that's true. Then Dallas fires Jason Kidd with a bunch of money left on his contract.
Hey, anybody that can lead a franchise or win a championship, they're pretty good at shipping out. So maybe Flag is next. The great Bill Laimbeer.
Bill Laimbeer.
That guy was pretty bad boy, man. I guess no pun intended. Being that he was a bad boy Piston, but yeah, that guy would he would throw some punches at you.
Well, it's nice to see Devin Williams do something.
So you just won that game, so that leaves you 20 games out of first? Did you ever take a game or two?
You see the slander. I don't mind, the slander. 14.5.
Close enough. Close enough.
Oh my gosh! It's the former Jedi. It's the Sean's Texas card.
The man, the myth, the legend. I'm sure he's still a Jedi, just in his spare time now. But where do you guys put Jason Kidd at all time as far as point guards go? Would you say he's top 10, top 5, or where do you have him?
Top 15. Where I'd put him.
Yeah, 15 I think is a good number.
I'd say that's probably I would have said probably 10 to 15 too, so that's probably fair. It's just wild to me how cheap his cards are with him being that highly touted all time. They're still like dollar cards, like his rookies and stuff. Like obviously, if you're getting like a PMG or something like that, you're going to pay up. But even like Scrub is like $2,000 from back then, which is kind of wild. Like, because that just shows the scarcity actually matters in some things.
Yeah.
I didn't know his wife. All of these famous guys beat their spouses, or what is going on now?
Majority of them, I think.
They must. They must do something.
Well, hell, even wrestlers do it. Look at what's his name.
That goes beyond beating.
I mean, I forget his name. The El Grande Americano guy.
Big Kaiser.
Yeah, his real name's like Melvin something.
Yeah, hey, well, that was supposedly, what do you call it? He was
he roid raging?
He was showing a lot of affection in an elevator and with his girlfriend and stuff, and the guy went ahead and mouthed something to him, so he went ahead and I guess like punched him in the head.
Yeah,
WWE's not doing anything to him, but
as of right now, no. There hasn't been anything.
Well, good. At least he didn't beat his wife. That's good.
The basement looks a little bare there, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, there's the pool tables taken apart, boxes back there, everything. Yeah,
I guess you could have thrown up some drywall instead of particle board on the walls, but I guess when you're rich, you save money. I guess.
Yeah.
We love you, Mike.
Yeah, we're in the we're in the home stretch here. We have turned third base. We are heading for home.
That's nice.
That's awesome.
You're gonna enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
So what'd you think of Monday Night Raw, Mike?
I didn't see. I was away. We were up at the lake and everything.
You didn't miss anything.
I don't. Honestly, everything that I've read. I mean, the shows haven't. I mean, you watch them, but the shows really have not been worth watching.
But they are usually for me. I do free rolls of poker online. I'll go on there, do that, and that's just basically background noise unless something really extravagant happens. Like, I did not understand why they're giving Rey Mysterio a Intercontinental shot. I don't get that. Makes no sense. I like the guy, but he's had it before. Why does he need another? Because they're probably going to let him win.
Man, I hope they don't let him beat Penta.
The part that sucks is that was always the belt that was like the builder belt. You know what I mean? Like, that was the belt that you knew the next step up was that. Because like they brought like Triple H and The Rock and Shawn Michaels and all these guys through that belt. Like, I remember even Bret Hart, Stone Cold went through that belt. You know what I mean? It was so iconic that was the stepping stone. And then they would kind of use that to push the guy before they gave them their big shot. And it's just sad that they don't use it that way as much anymore.
No, they use it. I mean, I don't know. Gimmicky is not the right thing, but I mean, they do, they do that type of thing. But I mean, look, they effed up the Obafemi thing so bad they had to offer Brock Lesnar money to go ahead and come back.
Yeah,
because they didn't know what to do with him, and that was the one thing that we talked about was, okay, hey, if you're gonna have Obafemi do this stuff. That is great. You want him to be the next beast? That is great. I get it. What do you do after he beats Brock Lesnar? And they obviously had no clue because they had to do this thing called the Obafemi Open Challenge.
Which was stupid.
So now what are they going to do? They're going to have Femi and Lesnar fight this Sunday at Clash in Italy.
And I bet you anything, Lesnar wins so they can have that final match at SummerSlam in Minnesota.
Which is like just so dumb to like halt his momentum for a guy that you know is literally had his time in the sun already.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like it like kind of take, in my opinion, takes away the meaning behind that win. You know what I mean? And like you're trying to build him to be Brock Lesnar. Let him just be Brock Lesnar right now. You know, but just literally destroying everybody he faces. Like, that's what he should do.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like they're planning on doing. But I mean, maybe they have Lesnar lose all three of them, but that I don't know. I can't see. Well, I guess they paid Lesnar the right amount of money, he would do it.
But what do you do for the next 2 months?
A lot of talking.
Because SummerSlam isn't until the first week of August.
Yeah.
Do you guys think A, they have to get super high to book these shows, or B, the guys who actually know about wrestling have to get super high to agree to what the executives want to book on these shows?
Might be both. Might be both on that one.
Because I can't fathom like what they're doing since Vince is gone. Like it's really just gotten bad.
Yeah. Because TKO doesn't care about wrestling, they just care about the money.
Like there's plenty of weeks I don't even tune in. I'll just like literally see what happens on like my Instagram and whatever feeds,
And then most of it I'll put on background noise. If something entertaining, like when I was there and I heard when you had Oba out there and Brock Lesnar came back, I flipped over to see that real quick, and that was about it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Oba is awesome, man. Like he's somebody that like even like newer people I think are tuning in to see. Like it's just like awesome to see a guy that like has that type of potential and that type of stature.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're trying to build Keys up the same way, but there's no way. Because Friday night it just sucks.
I think we talked about it. I think you went from a guy who looked at it as a family entertainment, thing, to a company that just saw dollar signs. Well, what was it? I think it was either last year. I think it might have been last year, going into SummerSlam, after they put the tickets on sale after the first, couple of weeks. They had one of the higher ups in TKO basically came out and was like, man, we must be selling these tickets for too cheap because we've sold so many tickets already.
Right.
Really? Well, and I think we talked about it, John. I think where Vince wanted a full stadium, a full arena, a full whatever, and didn't care, and charge, let's say $50 a ticket, whatever it may be, right? TKO says, hey, we'll charge $100 a ticket, and if we only get 75% of the stadium or 80% of the stadium filled, we're still making a crap ton more money than if we sold them at 50 and had it 100% full.
Well, I have been reading, I guess, that depending on what happens with Vince's suit, because there's something going on there, that TKO is actually interested in possibly bringing him on board again. If they bring him on as like head of the writers, I think we might get a little bit better of a show. A little bit.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for for Triple H and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Look, I don't know how that whole thing's going to work. Obviously, I think to me the biggest disappointment out of all of this is that they don't have an idea. I mean, think about it. How long ago was it that the John Cena Classic was mentioned? and there hasn't been another really blip about
no updates, nothing.
Just that it's going to be some kind of match between NXT and main roster, and the fans are going to vote.
Here's a question for you guys in terms of WWE. Do you think that they need to start looking outside of the box for new talent, or do you think they already have too much talent? They just need to focus on building what they have in house.
Too much that they have in house. I think they need to start building on what they have. I mean, I know they just cleaned house, but there were a lot of people that they weren't really. Besides for the Kyrie Sane, most of them really weren't in any storylines.
Yeah.
So I see it as you just brought up Sol Ruka. You brought up that three-lady faction or whatever it is.
Fatal Attraction.
Okay. Keep them a little on the lower end. But these people you brought up before them, start working on them like they are with Olafemi. With they're not doing really much with Keith, but he won the Andre tournament, so that ruined his career. There's so many other ones that they brought up that they could be.
You're right.
Like, why do they still have what's his name? The one that's sleeping all the time. Why even keep him?
Johnny Gargano.
Just get rid of him.
Yeah,
he's dead weight.
I mean, you look. You have a Sol Ruka who all of a sudden now she's going up against Becky Lynch for a title match. I think to your point, though, I agree. I think there's so much talent they don't know what to do, and you're not. But you have so much talent you don't know what to do. But then on top of that, you're not building anything. Like if you're, like you look at SmackDown and you have, Cody Rhodes. You had to bring Gunther over. You had to bring Gunther over from Monday Night Raw to go to Friday nights, so you could potentially have something to go on because you had nobody else on SmackDown that could take that next step up.
Yeah.
I mean, again, what are you doing?
Hurt, so.
You know what I would be interested in potentially seeing, since like they're kind of a TKO brand right now? What would the potential be to incorporate some of like the older MMA guys that are aging out of being able to actively compete at a high level? Like say like a Conor McGregor, a guy who still draws millions and millions of dollars, make him the next Ken Shamrock and have him like a headliner type guy. You know what I mean? Like, you have access to guys already, is what I'm saying, because they're on the exact same payroll. So, could there be any cross, like even like Brock Lesnar went to UFC for a while? Like, could that be something like some guys like Obafemi's or whomever that are like big monster guys like Brock or Braun Strowman or whatever? Like, could there be any cross?
Did TKO sell UFC to somebody?
I don't know. I haven't heard if they did.
I know TKO hold UFC from wherever they were to Paramount. Right. They pulled them off of ESPN to Paramount Plus.
Okay.
That's right. It's just like I said, like we've talked before, Mike, where you put your head up your butt, you'll know how they're thinking. That's the only thing I can think is, if they would just say, look, Triple H, you take care of everything. You take care of running the show, building the storylines and all, we'll stay out of it. But the problem is they got to take all those stories, pass them through TKO before they can even run them, which ruins, I think, all of them.
Yeah. Well, like we said, look, even right now, you got Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Tribal Combat. Okay.
And all they did Monday night was talk, and then did the handshake and went head to head, and that was it for Monday night.
Right. So they've already fought once, and now they're going to fight again. It's Tribal Combat. What do you do after that?
Well,
because Tribal Combat different than Bloodline rules?
Yes.
And then no holds barred, then no DQ, then anything counts.
It's the little stupid stuff that they put in the storyline. Like, supposedly for this, if Jacob wins, he would become head of the table, and Roman will have to be like basically his dog on a leash.
Yeah.
if Roman wins, he still keeps his job, even though that the whole deal was he gets fired, which I knew that wasn't going to happen. Then he has to acknowledge and be part of the family. But something leads me to believe they're going to put the belt on Jacob. I don't know why, but it's not going to last long. But I think the way they're playing this out,
it would be kind of cool to see the big dog actually on a leash and having to like do that stuff.
like back in the day when they tied him to the pole and put the dog food over him.
Yeah, if like anything, make it like a Montreal screw job type thing. It would make it even funnier. You know what I mean? Like, where he gets like screwed out of it and he has to end up acting like a dog. And
a fast count.
Somehow he mauls Jacob, you know, and gets the belt back eventually, like that type of thing.
Right.
He can JYD it.
But I don't know. I feel like that's something they're trying to work towards or are going to do. And I'm not going to be surprised if we see The Rock at one of these matches, either this one on Sunday or WrestleMania next year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when you I don't know. It's just you just don't know the storytelling, the lack of everything. I mean, what happened at Saturday night's main event? Did you watch that?
I did.
Yeah.
Did the Profits win?
Huh?
Did the Profits win?
No, they did not.
Yeah. Okay, so
they got brass knuckled by Logan Paul. The one went out. Supposedly Logan Paul's injured now, his wrist or something with his arm.
You know, so I mean, you build that up. You have them win. They're not here. So what is it? Potentially Night of Champions. So you're going to have them in Saudi Arabia because Night of Champions is in Saudi Arabia. Do they keep this Trick Williams thing and Sammy going? And do they, knowing that there's no way they could put a championship title on Sammy at WrestleMania, do they potentially put the U.S. title back on him at Night of Champions? I don't. You just don't know what's going on. I mean, it's just you just can't follow along. You know, the whole women's title thing. You had to move Rhea Ripley off of Monday to have her go to SmackDown because you had nobody at SmackDown that was worthy of going against Jade Cargill. You know, then you put together this. How the frig are Beats Fab, Michin, and Jade Cargill all of a sudden a faction?
Yeah.
That's why they have too many shows, man. Like, if they would just somehow combine this stuff, you could literally cut some of the loose weight and actually have a good show start to finish.
I personally say you get rid of NXT. Keep it to the Florida Training Center and have just SmackDown and Raw. That's it, like it used to be.
Yeah. I mean, you could keep your SmackDown and Raw, but let's go ahead and work on from the talent side of having, people that, number one, people want to see. Don't go ahead and go, oh my gosh, OVW let these people go, or Ring of Honor let these people go, or AEW let these people go, or TNA let these people. Let's go ahead and sign them all. And then, then what do you do? What are you going to do? Joe Hendry, what are you doing with Joe Hendry?
He just appears.
I didn't know if he was going to appear. But what are you doing with him?
Fire Logan Paul.
He's
out there singing Fire Logan Paul.
You bring him. What are you doing with him and everything like that? We've already said what are you doing? What are you doing with Obafemi? We saw what they did. Carmelo Hayes was going all of a sudden. Let's have Sami Zayn beat Carmelo Hayes. Really?
Yeah.
Sami Zayn. So.
I mean, you do have some guys coming back. I know Bronson Reed is due back supposedly sometime before SummerSlam. Kevin Owens is coming back. He's going to be at the Raw that is in, I think, Madison Square Garden, they said. He's been cleared to wrestle again. Logan did tear his bicep. Supposedly he's out 6 months. He plans to try to come back in a couple of weeks. If he's out 6 months, they should have to drop the titles, and then they have a tournament for the titles. Now I guess they're, what's his name? Austin Theory went to good old Paulie and said, we're going to have to drop the belt. What am I going to do? Well, he's not. I'm going to go talk to Pierce and say, look, since it's Braun and him, we're just going to put the belt on you and Braun. Yeah, he did tear it, really. He did have surgery on it. So,
what do you think the odds of his brother ever coming to WWE are, Jake Paul?
I don't do that.
I don't think so. I think it would be too much of a joke. My gosh, think about it. Think about the freaking vision.
Larkin puts it right. He just needs to quit before they die. I agree.
I mean, if you're Austin Theory, you're doing this all the time. What the hell is going to happen to me? I'm looking over my shoulder because, for crying out loud, And then it's another thing,
yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, TKO went ahead and said, sorry, Jake.
Interesting.
One call was enough.
Yeah. But I think, from, again, you look at it, here you are, you're working on this Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker thing, Clash in Italy. Nope. Let's do 5 matches and nope. So, where's that going? Oh, okay. So again, like we said,
match already, it's done.
Right. So now what?
You know what I wonder? Like when they do this stuff, like in Italy or Saudi Arabia, like how hard? Like what's the language barrier like for these people? You know what I mean? Because if I'm in Italy, like I'm probably not fluent in English, and they're not going to go over there and do Italian.
No, I think Italy would probably be a little easier than Saudi Arabia because I figure there's probably quite a few English-speaking people, but I mean, are multilingual, should I say?
Yeah.
Where I don't see as many being over in Saudi Arabia, but I could be wrong, and who knows? But I mean, it's like you said with that whole Seth Rollins thing. Now he's teaming up with what's his name from the Street Profits, the thin guy,
Montez,
because the other one got hurt. So now what? Those two are supposedly joining forces to try to take out the Vision.
Which Vision already lost a guy.
Right. And I guess you're going to have LA Knight maybe going after one of the Usos or both Usos. I don't know. Yeah, they had words out on Monday night.
That's what I mean. You have so much talent and you have no idea because not only that, you bullshit too much on these friggin' shows.
There's no
backstage this, backstage that, this interview. Oh my gosh, there's a limo pulling up. We better go ahead and go to the back. Who is it? Oh my gosh, the Roman Reigns came.
Now, back in the day, that made it worth it to watch to see who was coming in that limo because you were like, okay. You kind of knew who it was, but I mean, still, it was a little more interesting. You weren't constantly going backstage either.
Right.
There's no long-term storytelling. It's all a month to 2 months, and that's it, if you get that. Instead of stretching it out over like a year to make a really good storyline, let's cut it in a quarter.
Yeah, and the thing is you look at it with them promoting a bunch of these people from, NXT and throwing them right into, let's face it, Becky Lynch against Sol Ruca. I mean, that's upper card. That's not lower card. That's upper card. You're throwing these people right in there. So you can't build a storyline.
No.
Okay, yes. So Becky cheated and pulled the referee, and Sol did the thing, and that's how Becky lost. But Sol won, but she kept it. Oh, so now they have a rematch. Okay, so again, I understand the thing of when you look at some of the age of these wrestlers, you want to go ahead and you want to put the belt on them. But some of these guys you've built up, I understand, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, but they, use those two as your champions. And you're like, not for nothing, but, these guys aren't spring chickens anymore. Okay.
Right.
So I'm okay with that. I get that. So if you're going to go ahead and take the belt and now put it on 20-something-year-olds, What are you doing with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns?
Right.
If you have, even if it's December-ish, or let's say it is, even if it's WrestleMania, let's go ahead and jump all the way to WrestleMania next year, and you have Obafemi beat Roman Reigns. Obafemi, and if you're building him up to be that beast type thing, which we don't know if they are now because of what they've had to do with bringing Brock Lesnar back. But if it somehow that train rights itself and it becomes that, once you go ahead and put the title on him, you got to have at least a year's worth of. He has to be the champion for at least a year.
Right.
So how many times do you have him beat a Roman Reigns? Or how many times do you have him beat, LA Knight or one of the Usos or whoever else is the next up and coming person, on Raw? Is he going to, are you having him beat up Penta, beat up, Javon Evans? What are you doing? And conversely, even the same thing with a Cody Rhodes. Let's say they look at a Trick Williams as the guy who could go ahead and be there. Okay. Once you do it, what do you do? That's the problem they have. I understand you want these young guys to go ahead, and you think you need to have the young guys. But I think that's what you're looking at from a standpoint of is that, what are you going to do with your veterans? This is not, and you think about it, this is not football. This is not, I mean, these guys, I guess you just want to cut Roman Reigns and let him loose. You want to cut Cody Rhodes. It's not like you're that 15-year veteran offensive lineman who they go, you know what? Thanks a lot, pal. You're done. We cut you. So I don't understand.
Thing is, where's this? I mean, I understand obviously CM Punk and AJ probably wanted a break for a little bit, but you don't end on him coming out and facing Cody. Telling me, that all that they want a title shot, and then just disappear. I think that's where they brought Gunther to try to fill that until he comes back.
It's not going to happen, but I have a little bit of a hot take. If they were to cut Roman Reigns, he'd be AEW's just this generation's Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah, he would.
Because he would be known as WWE's biggest guy for like the last decade or so. And now he's here. You know what I mean? And they'd probably build around him like they did with Hogan. It'd be cool to see how they do that. He'd probably have more creative control there too.
Yeah,
I've heard that they do. I mean, that's why Moxley re-signed instead of coming to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it'd be kind of, and people might get mad, but I think if they were able to get Moxley back and do just a short stint of the Shield again to like kind of wipe out the Vision, wipe out Judgment Day, stuff like that, and then they get done, I'd be okay with that.
That would be cool to see.
This whole Bloodline 2.0 or whatever they're trying to do is just stupid. It's been rubbed in the dirt so bad.
Yeah.
Just like the Judgment Day just need to be somehow fall apart because they're not doing anything with Liv Morgan. They just kind of threw her away. And the other
same thing with Finn. They basically threw Finn out. And now you don't know what's going on with him and everything. You would have thought that if you're going to go ahead and you're going to take a Finn and pull him out, that you would think you're doing it because you're going to give him a run as a single. You're going to make him be the guy that's going up against Penta for the IC. You know what I'm saying? Rather than, Rey Mysterio.
It's wild that they're not doing that. Like, as talented as Finn Balor is.
The U.S. champion even for him. One of those two. At least give him that shot. And
yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense. This whole Americano grande bullshit is getting old.
Well, they're supposed to, in AAA, they're supposed to have a mask for mask match.
Nice.
And I don't know what happens now with Ludwig getting arrested on battery charges. I don't,
he's still allowed to travel. It's part of his job. They said that the
I'm
judge
sure-
basically said since the way it went down, because it's his job. That's how he makes his money for his family. They're letting him do it. So I think that match is what's going to come down to is they're going to pull each other's mask off at the same time.
That'd be cool. That'd be a good finish.
And you'll see that Chad Gable.
And because the thing is once you take the mask off of either one, let's say, what do you do with that other person? So Chad Gable comes. Let's say they think that Kaiser is fine. He can keep doing that role with what's his name, with Tyler Bate and
whatever the other guy is.
Yeah, Pete. What do you do with Gable? Gable is extremely talented in the ring.
They keep him with that All-Americans or whatever it is.
Okay, and then what are you doing with that? What are you doing with that trio?
They're doing nothing with any of their wrestlers right now.
Mask off, and it's Joe Hendry and Danhausen. Yeah.
I mean, you also still have. Now Monday was kind of weird with them, but the whole Tozawa and Otis and what's her name, Maxine,
Alpha Academy.
Well, whatever they want to call themselves right now. I guess the one was it Austin Theory walked by or somebody like that. One of the heels walked by and Maxine's like, "Ooh," and walked off. So I don't know if they're trying to split them up. I mean, they need to just get rid of them. I'm sorry. I love Otis because he's a big guy. Tozawa is useless. I mean, you might as well bring those other two back from the 80s and 90s that used to wrestle as a tag team. Can't remember their names, but they always kept getting their asses beaten. That's all that's going to happen. Tozawa was there for just, I guess, the Japanese figure, I guess, maybe. I don't know. On the male side.
Yeah, I mean, like again, you have a bunch of wrestlers that
I think it's all.
They're I think the problem they have right now is they have, it's just my opinion, they have too many. I hate to say it, but lower card guys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a lot of, even though they have names and even though they seem to do it, but even when you look at some of the people that they have, to me, a headliner is one of those guys where you say, you know what, he's the guy that everybody wants to come and see. He's the reason why everybody's putting their ass in the seat. Yep. He's the guy. You look at him and you go, that is the face of the company. And I get that with Roman and I get that with Cody. The problem I have is I don't know who you have after that. Can it be Oba? Sure. Can it be a Trick Williams on the other side? Sure. They're over with the crowd. If that is what the what do you want to call it? The number one thing on the checkbox is over with the crowd and selling, merchandise. If that's what it is, then okay. Then I guess you have two of those guys. If that's what you look at as the guys that can go ahead and lead the company.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this. You have Cody and Roman right now, right? Do you consider the heads of the face of the company? Those two versus The Rock and Stone Cold, who had the better face of the company out of the two groups, each two of them?
Rock and Stone Cold, hands down.
That's what it's like. And these two, I mean, Cody and Roman are good. There's nowhere, they don't have the same chemistry that The Rock and Stone Cold had.
No, but they were on the same program. But for a while,
you got to remember they would go back and forth constantly between.
That's
shows.
true. You didn't really have, that's true.
If they would allow that to happen again, I think that might help a little bit because then you have crossover guys coming from SmackDown to Raw, Raw to SmackDown, and you would have probably a little bit better of a show.
For sure.
Like I said, get rid of NXT, go back to just having it at the friggin' Florida Training Center, and then just the guys that you have right now, keep them and go back and forth. Let them go back and forth. Who gives a crap?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you'll sell more tickets at both shows if you allow that, especially for SmackDown.
You probably will, but then again, we have to realize, you're talking about a TKO who is looking at a standpoint of it, and I think the reason why they want the NXT is because that's where you're going to get your low-cost talent. Sol Ruka, Becky Lynch. I gotta believe there's got to be one that has to be a big pay difference.
Mm-hmm.
From that standpoint. NXT, really. I mean, honestly, I know you say you got to get rid of it, but the truth is NXT they do put on really good shows for what they are. I think that's what you have to realize is that that not necessarily young guys and girls, but that is your developmental. That's where you have all that type of stuff. You have some super athletic people down there. I think they've looked and you've changed what a prototypical or what some of the wrestlers are looking like. It's look, Vince liked the big friggin' guys, big muscle like that. Now a lot more people like the guys who basically can jump out of the gym. Like Javon Evans, who can jump like crazy. You look at some of the women wrestlers, the same type of thing. Very, very Sol Ruka, very, very athletic. You look at they're all these NIL deals they're doing are with gymnasts, gymnasts or these tumbling type people thinking, hey, they already are very good athletes. We can teach them how to go ahead and wrestle. I just think the thing what you have is they look at NXT and, oh my gosh, this person is so big as NXT. We got to get them to the main roster. And I think that's where they're going to have a failure, because then they're trying to push that person who is still so new. And you can see botch after botch after botch after botch, where that should be on NXT, where there's less eyeballs.
I got the breakdown for you on financials too. You were asking the difference between like a Becky and a Sol Ruka.
I looked at that too.
So developmental NXT, they typically get a guaranteed contract of anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 per year, depending on their like level of expertise and training and stuff like that. Main roster, there's a minimum that Triple H put in of $250,000 to $350,000 for like people coming up to the main roster. Mid-card performers typically make anywhere from $500,000 to $1.5 million. So not terrible for a mid-carder if you're a regular television person. Then the main event people like Roman, Seth, Cody, they make anywhere from $3 million a year to $15+ million a year. So it's pretty sizable between NXT and like a main event.
I looked at that. Sol Ruka makes $250,000. She gets the base. Mm-hmm. Becky is right around the $2 million mark. So it's almost what, 100 times?
In a mid Carter, but just lower than the main eventer.
10x.
It's wild.
But I mean, I don't know. I just don't. They got to figure something out, and I don't think they ever will. Short of what I said, they allowing the guys to go back and forth between shows. I mean, is Roman worth the money? Does he pull in that kind of money every time he's at a show? I don't think so. There are other guys. Oba, I think, gets a bigger pop than he does. I mean, Roman does get his pop. Don't get me wrong, but I believe Oba's is bigger.
How much more money, though, do you think that WWE makes off of, like, say, a pay-per-view or something like that if they're advertising Roman Reigns versus when they're not?
I
Roman
think
Reigns versus who?
Like if they're advertising Roman's going to be on this pay-per-view versus when they're advertising Roman's not on the pay-per-view. Like, how much additional money? Because I could see certain people being like, well, the champ's not even going to be there. It's not even worth tuning in for. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not talking about like a hardcore wrestling fan, but like just your average wrestling fan. You know what I mean? Like,
I would think it maybe 25 to 30% more. Maybe I wouldn't say 50 or 60% more. I'd say 20 to 30% more probably.
But that's significant.
And if you
Right,
get
that's
say him
that's
and
big.
Cody on there, then you're jumping it probably to the 60% more range because they're both going to be there.
It had to be worth something because they put the belt back on him.
Well, they didn't have anybody else to put it on. You're going to keep it on CM Punk when he wants to probably take some time off. Obviously, it looks like. I mean, who do you put it on then? Do you jump it right to Oba at that point? Like you said, though, he's not ready. He's not there yet, I don't believe. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it put on, say, an LA Knight even for a little bit. You know, he deserves it.
I don't know why. Yeah. So Walker doesn't think there's any difference with Roman and without Roman. I don't know.
Honestly,
I'm checking right now.
If you look at WrestleMania, how hard they were trying to sell tickets, and I believe Roman was there. They had a hard time selling tickets. So I mean, you do have that.
I think you look at. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I
don't know how much of a draw.
According to Gemini, when Roman is on it's not based on sales anymore since they do like the streaming stuff, but apparently they have a 17 to 46% explosion in viewership when he is wrestling. So close to like half more people are watching if Roman's on the card. Just pretty cool. Just for one person. But then it says when he's not, it drops. They're like record lows historically when he's not on the card. Lately, at least, because they don't have many people besides him.
All right, you could do it for see what it does if you put in The Rock if he shows up.
Okay.
How much more it jumps? Because I know even with him being the final boss, he still got the huge pop. I mean, I know he's the biggest name in entertainment or whatever you want to call him, but
I gotta believe they had to look at it from a Roman perspective.
Interesting. The Rock's only 15 to 23%.
Yeah, but that's a guy who really doesn't wrestle. That's pretty damn good.
It's just
that's true. Yeah,
how that his ceiling is like half of what Roman's was, though.
But again, you're talking about a guy who's not going to be in the ring, a guy who's basically coming out to talk.
It's like a one and done type thing. So that makes sense. Yeah.
I just think, from a standpoint of is that, obviously they thought something because they put the belt back on him. You could have easily have gone ahead and figure out there was no need to go ahead and you had Gunther, you had a former champion Gunther already there. You could have figured out something between him and Punk if you wanted to. But I think Roman, they look at Roman, and Roman is that needle mover. Now, they may have said also, Roman, if we're going to pay you $10, $15 million a year, well, then guess what? You need to be the champion. We can't have that one, from that.
Going back to what you said, all right, you couldn't have Gunther challenge him for that. Yeah, he beats Gunther. Big deal.
You could have.
But they decided to throw him at Cody for some reason.
Well, because they moved Jacob up. I mean, I don't know what the plan was for Jacob as a whole, but I mean, Jacob did move up pretty quick.
He did.
I mean, what is Jacob had any belt in WWE? Was the IC or US champion?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so you're talking about going. I mean,
he jumped the line a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, do they have the card set for Sunday? Am I correct?
Okay. Locken says US and tag champ. Thanks, Locken.
So the you have Roman against Fatu, you have Cody Gunther, you have Rhea against Jade, you have Brock Oba, you have Becky against Soul.
Okay, so
let's do some predictions.
It is a big heel. That's what you do need. You do need a big heel.
I know you have Dom face Roman for the title. You just watch him get obliterated.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, at some point you're going to get that too. You're going to get the Roman versus Solo probably again at some point. But let's start with the Soul Becky.
Makes more sense for Soul to win just to help build her up.
I agree.
If
If she doesn't watch.
Becky's a good one for helping to build up a young talent, because she's not so like focused on needing to have a belt, but she's more focused on just having decent matches and stuff. So I could totally see Soul going over on Becky for that reason. I'm a Becky fan, so I always like to see Becky win, but I could totally see the young talent going over in this case, especially because you're trying to build her up as like a legitimate main roster talent. And beating a Becky Lynch is probably one of the best veteran people you can have her do that against.
Right. How about you, Mikey?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I just, as much as I like Sol Ruka, I just don't see it this soon. But then if you don't do it, what have you done for her? So I'll go with Sol. I think it's a bad move. Because what do you do? You have them fight again, and then do you take it off of her? So I'm gonna go Sol, but I don't think it's a good move to put it on Sol. I don't see it long term right now. But the one thing we don't know about all this stuff is how much of a push is TKO going against the grain. And what I mean going against the grain of is that your champions in the past, like, they were really never young people. They were always people that were a little on the older side.
Yeah.
TKO.
They had the veterans winning them, yeah.
Huh?
They had it on the veterans for the most part.
Yeah. Because I think when you looked at it from a standpoint of is that back then, if a young up and comer got beaten by a Becky Lynch per se, it didn't ruin her career. It didn't spoil her career because she or he was not built up the way they are building up these younger people. They're making them, the way they're making them and stuff. So again, I think it's going to be Sol, but I think it would be a bad idea.
Are the women's tag teams up here?
No, the other one is Rhea against Jade. That's the other women's match.
They're not giving it back to Jade.
Yeah, I'm going with Rhea there too.
I can't. That would be a dumb move because Jade didn't really. She doesn't get the pop that Rhea does either.
Yeah, no, Rhea is insanely popular.
No, I think you're looking at, and when it comes to the women's division, I think you're looking at Rhea is the top dog there. Yeah, I think unless she was to go ahead and get pregnant, I don't see her. Hey, what's happening, Chuck?
Oh, Chuck.
I don't really see her going ahead and and losing anytime soon.
I'm sure someone in her position is probably on birth control and really planned out for her future, at least for the time being.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So from that standpoint, I don't see anything. I just don't. I can't see Rhea losing.
I honestly think the women have a little less longevity than the men too. Not just like for physicality, it just seems like shallowness. You know what I mean? Like, look at like a Charlotte Flair, where she is now compared to where she was like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, she's still like a decorated champion, but they're not giving her anywhere near the push they did because she's a little bit older. You know what I mean? So
I think if Rhea loses it, it'll be back to Io Sky, if anything. If that ever happens again, that match.
Yeah.
It's the only one that makes sense. And then we have what's next on the list there?
Brock Oba.
They're planning on doing a 3-match thing, which I'm pretty sure they are. I would have to think Brock would have to win this one to be able to lose gracefully at SummerSlam and bow out. Or they decided to do a 3, you lose 3 times in a row, you're done. I don't know. That one could go either way, really.
Yeah, I am completely confused by this match. I mean, I don't know. This one is I mean, I understand it. I truly do think that Brock did retire, that he stepped away. I think maybe he still had time on his contract, and maybe they went ahead and went to him and said, hey, hold on here. We'll take you to court and stuff, and maybe there was some kind of a negotiating type of thing, and he came back. But to me, if the ultimate goal is to have Oba Femi retire Brock Lesnar in Minnesota, then I think that means Brock has to beat him, and then in the next upcoming 2 months or so, Brock has to kind of sort of humiliate him somewhat a little bit to where it's a, hey, you know what? If I can't, or maybe, well, I just talked myself into saying Brock loses because I was just gonna say Brock because Brock says, hey, if I can't beat you, I will retire at SummerSlam. Then that would mean that Brock would lose. So I'm gonna change and say Oba's gonna win. I just talked myself into Oba Femi winning.
I mean, you do have a point there that
because I created a storyline that I have no idea if it's even a real storyline.
Just
if you did do, if they do have Brock win, they could have him, like you said, for the next couple months coming out, attacking Oba, beats up Oba one time, then comes out and Oba beats him up, kind of go back and forth until SummerSlam. But I think they're going to have Oba beat him 3 times, and then, like you said, if you beat me at SummerSlam, I'll retire for good.
I could totally see that as well. Like I was going to say, based on everything you guys have said, I'm definitely going Oba here. But the main reason being is that Brock retired, so I definitely think they're going to want to try to continue to build Oba. I think they have a good opportunity to do that. I mean, this is definitely more interesting than the open challenge stuff that they've been doing with him. But yeah, like you guys were saying, it would make sense for him to win this one and then Brock make that challenge. Like, well, I really will retire if you can beat me again, type of thing. Or if Brock does win one and then they go to a third, like you were saying earlier, John, maybe it would make sense for Brock to win by DQ and Oba just go over really strong and just beat the ever-loving hell out of him. You know what I mean? Like, it would be another really good way to have them go directly into another one while Brock gets the win, but like not really because he goes away beat up.
Right.
Because then that doesn't really take away too much steam from Oba either because he still looks like a monster.
Right. Is that it for Sunday? 3 matches?
No. You have the two men's titles. You have Cody against Gunther.
That's Cody all the way. There's no way Gunther wins that one. Even though he's the career killer. Well, they don't call him that anymore, I noticed.
You can't, especially because I mean, how are you going to, I mean, wow, you're going to have Gunther go ahead and beat Cody, and then what? I mean,
Gunther reminds me of like a large Bob Backlund. He was like really technically sound. It can really wrestle well, but who cares? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Bring back the chicken wing submission.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that would be a classic for SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think I can't see Cody losing. And then you're gonna have the OTC.
Fatu.
against Jacob Fatu.
In
Wouldn't be surprised, Chuck. I wouldn't be surprised.
that one, I said I am leaning Fatu. There's something there that's telling me that TKO wants to put the belt on him, even if it's for a little bit. I don't think it makes sense. But then anything TKO doesn't really make sense.
If it was a no disqualification type match, which I know it is, but it really isn't, I could see Fatu winning, and then you have a tribal combat match, with all the stipulations that go with it.
Well, that's what they're having in this one.
No. What I'm saying is that if this match
was just a regular
was not tribal combat, and didn't have all those other stipulations, because from a standpoint of if Jacob has to win, Jacob wins, and Roman's, now, his sidekick,
would be interesting to see. That's all I'm saying.
It would be interesting to see. It would, and
especially the way Anthony put it, that would make me laugh.
And Roman hanging his head and so on and so forth and everything, and
gets down on his knees and
figuring out a way to go ahead and have that other match. If that's what I was saying, like if it was just a regular match, or even like I said, a no DQ or something along those lines, I could see it being Fatu. Just the stipulations, I don't know, man. And then and then what? Again, I don't think they would take it off Roman. It's just very, very confusing. Of when you look at if you try and look at the what's next, and I think, like I've said before, and we've talked about it, I think those of us who like watching wrestling, we have to look at it more like a real sporting event, to where what happened in tonight's Mets Reds game, there's no storytelling for what happens in tomorrow night's Mets Reds baseball game. We have to look. I think there's some of this where you have to look at it. It is you're looking at it each one is one night. It's not. You have to kind of sort of unlink things from each other. But I'm gonna go with Roman. It's a long-winded. I'm going with Roman.
Yeah, I'm with you, Michael. I'm probably going with Roman. However, I would very much like to see this be Roman's future. What I just shared for you there on the share screen. This would make me so freaking happy if he had to come to the ring like British Bulldog with his Bulldog back in the day. I would pop so freaking hard for that. But yeah, I think he's going to win, but this would make it worth him losing for me. Make it happen, TKO.
And then show up on Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
And then, have whatever have to happen. So.
And it doesn't look like. So you're going to get Friday night, you get face-to-face with Gunn. You get The Miz versus Axiom. The face-to-face with Rhea and Cargill. An open challenge for the U.S. women's title. And in-ring debut of Blake. Also, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Tiffany Stratton also advertised to show up.
Well, if it's an open challenge for the women's U.S.
You
said it's an open challenge for the women's U.S. title or the men's?
The women's.
So that's Tiffany.
That's the one Tiffany has, I think.
That's how you go ahead and get Tiffany back on screen. Uh-oh. John has the spinning wheel of death on my screen.
Yeah, mine too. It's probably loading all that handsome.
I don't know. I don't, it's, well,
Couldn't handle all
It's
that.
interesting from a standpoint of, there are so many times where, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go ahead and I have to get home by, by this, or, hey, I know we're doing something after dinner. We have to go to the store, but we got to be back by 8 o'clock because Raw is going to be on, or we got to be back by 8 o'clock. SmackDown is going to be on. And now it's like, yeah, SmackDown's going to be on.
Mm-hmm. I know.
And Raw makes it easy because all you gotta do is watch it, rewatch it. You don't have to sit there.
Yeah, it was must-see TV for the longest time.
In the 80s and 90s, it was. Actually, 80s to early 2000s, it was when you had to. Mm-hmm. You wanted to see it for the storyline, what was going to happen next between The Rock and Stone Cold, or Mankind and The Rock, this and that, what was going on.
Or even once they finally bought WCW, like to figure out what was going to happen with the invasion angle and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think one of the better ones they had was that invasion angle where you had the kids with WCW and ECW fighting their dad with WWE. That made such a good show.
For sure.
So, yeah, I don't think SmackDown's going to be all that great. I don't know why they're bringing up another new guy, but whatever. One more to add to the plate that's not going to get anything.
Yeah, I mean, and like you're saying, oh, so and so is advertised. Okay, so what? That means there's going to be, probably some, either in-ring talk or some, backstage segment.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo. But that's their hook.
If Randy's going to be, I can see him coming out at some point and being like, once you're done with Gunther, I'm coming back for to get the title from you. Because he's going to be a heel, obviously. I can't see him just turning heel for that little bit of short time and then go face again.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that he, comes back. Well, I guess you're right. He could come back as a face. I think it's probably, probably less of an opportunity or less of a chance of that happening.
Right.
Unless he, I mean, you think about it, probably the only way he's a face if it's some kind of I'm protecting my friend, Cody.
Right.
Like Gunther would have to beat the ever living crap out of him enough.
In that face to face, they start fighting and Gunther gets the upper hand, and Randy comes out and RKO's him, and then turns to look at Cody and like, "You're next," or something like something like that. Anyway, I don't know why, but some reason I'll probably watch the pay-per-view. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't.
2:00 in the afternoon.
Oh, I'll be fine for that, but just do I really want to watch it? That's the question. Now, this is worth paying $31.99 for.
Yeah, it's better than some of the pay-per-views they've had recently. I'll definitely say that. It actually has some matches I would actually want to see. Like, honestly, I feel like some of the pay-per-views they put out have been like Sunday Night Heat level, like back in the day, like where it was always like the jobbers right before the actual show you wanted to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's all good.
We shall see. Oh.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, man, 2 hours, 15, 20 minutes, whatever the heck the number is.
Another great show.
27th episode over. You caught the pre-show on AEW on Saturday. I was like, yeah, AEW is, they're, I don't know if they
got Mick Foley now.
I don't know if they get their act together. Yeah, that's whatever. I don't know, if they can go ahead, if they can continue to build on what they have, TKO will, again, it's kind of like, I don't know how far in the rearview mirror AEW is with WWE, you know what I'm saying? But it'll have to be something that you'll have to know that there is, somebody out there, coming to get you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Much appreciated. And as always, we will catch you
Peace.
next Wednesday night for the final time at the current Huddle HQ.
Oh, yeah.